here, the Frugal Crafter. Today I'm going to show you how to make this really fun multi-strand illusion necklace using hot glue. Yes, so easy. All you're going to need is some bead stringing wire. This was, you can see, very expensive, $3 on clearance at Walmart. And this was like a huge 100 yards of it. They had a bunch of these on clearance. I bought every spool I could find. You're also going to want some alcohol inks. You can use whatever brand you have. If you don't have alcohol inks, you can use Sharpies for this, so fear not. We're also going to need a glue gun and hot glue sticks, and also a some sort of clasp like a toggle and some jump rings. So this is going to be super easy to do and very inexpensive. I think this cost maybe, I don't know, it definitely cost less than $1 to make with the supplies I used. So yay! And this is it all done, and we're going to do this from start to finish. So the first thing you want to do is measure out some beading wire, and this is also called tiger tail. It would be like a brand name of it. I want to get, I'm doing 3 strands here, and each strand is going to be kind of a little bit shorter than the previous one, so this one I want to make it a little bit shorter. And I'm just going to cut that with my wire cutters. I got a pair here because I lost the pair I was using. It's under my mess somewhere here. These ones aren't very good. There we go. Got it cut. And then you want to lay it on your mat. And I'm working on a silicone mat because I am working with hot glue. And I don't want it to stick permanently just while I'm working. And then with your glue gun, you simply want to make some beads. I'm just going to wipe off the extras, a little extra on there. And when you squirt your glue gun, you want to squirt and twirl it and lift it straight up. And I'm just going to make some kind of smaller beads on this strand, almost like little pearls. Now you could use this technique to make earrings, bracelets, any other little charms that you want. You can customize it however you like. I would try not to do something you have to have completely uniform because sometimes it is a bit tricky to control the glue gun. You will most likely get some glue strings. Don't worry about those because you can just snap them off. When you're all done, you want to leave the last couple inches of your wire without anything on them because we need about 3 inches, 2 to 3 inches at the end to be able to attach our clasp to. And I'm not doing anything fancy. I'm just going to use a crimp bead and one end of a toggle on each end here. Okay, so now I have 3 strands done because I did these 2 strands before I started the video camera because it's the same thing, second verse, same as the first, as they say. And now we just have to let this cool and dry. So I'll be back in a second and we will finish this up. Okay, it's been about 2 minutes and these little beads have completely cooled off. The little beads will take shorter time to cool off than the bigger beads, keep that in mind. And this is, you know, very satisfying little noise they make when they pop up off the mat. I just love it. Alright, so I'm just going to pull these up off the mat here. And then I'm just going to work on my regular gray background because this silicone mat is kind of shiny and it's kind of hard to see what I'm doing. Well, not really hard for me to see what I'm doing, but it's going to be harder to you on camera because I've got those glary lights. Okay, so I've got my 3 strands here and I just want to kind of arrange them. So I've got this one and this one here, which I think is this the longer one? Just got to figure out which one is the longer one because that one's going to hang underneath. There we go. And then I've got this little one with the small beads. And if you see any little glue strings, just snap them off. Just break them right off. They're not going to hurt anything. And I'm just arranging these together. And I just want to make sure I have them flipped the right way. So the flat side will rest against you or your shirt and the rounded side will be out. So you want to make sure they all start off that way. And looking at this, this looks about right. I'm going to take one of these number 4 crimp tubes. Now you'll probably be a little confused if you look in your bead drawer or if you go to the store. There'll be different numbers on your crimp tubes, and generally like a number 2 is what I usually use when I'm just making a regular necklace and I've got 1 strand, because when you fold it over yourself you get like 1 on each side and it's just a perfect size. But for this, since I've got 3 strands, I'm going to use a number 4 so it can accommodate all of my strands of wire here. So I'm just going to slip the, this is so tiny and hard to see. See, this looks like a little, just a little cylinder, and I'm going to slide, oh my goodness, I'm kind of clumsy. I'm going to slide the ends right in there. See? Okay, we've got all 3 ends in there. See? And then I'm going to slide one of the ends, one of the clasp ends, and I've got the loop here. It's a toggle clasp. I picked this up on a sale too. I got it. These were like 25 cents for 6 toggle ends at Martin's at one point. I was pretty excited, so I bought like, you know, 10 packages of them or something, so I've got a lot to use up. And I'm going to slide these ends. I've just folded over the ends. Try not to bend them. You never want to bend your wire if you don't have to. And I'm just folding them and tucking those ends in. Okay, so they're coming out the other side of that the little crimp tube. So let's look at that so you can see what that looks like. Okay, can you see that? All right, looks kind of like a little loop. All right, then I'm going to use crimping pliers. If you don't have crimping pliers, you can just give this a squish with your regular pliers. But if you're going to do a lot of working with this type of beading wire, I highly recommend getting these because it just gives you such a nice, neater finish. And this is a larger tube, so I kind of have to squish it twice to get the whole length of it. And then after I have it like this, where it's squashed, it's kind of like a U shape. Then if I go on the end and on the side, then I can fold it over and I get this tiny little, very nice, tidy little end there. And now I want to trim my ends, these little sticky outy ends here, with my, I found them, they were on my chair. Good thing I didn't sit on them. That wouldn't have felt good. That would have been a pain in my behindy. I'll trim that right off. Now a little trick that I discovered is that if I make a necklace and I've got these little pokey out bits and I can't trim them very close, I've actually put a little dab of hot glue there and it buffers it, acts like a little cushion. And that's actually how I got the idea to try making this necklace with hot glue. So you never know where these ideas are going to come from, but when something kind of strikes you, write a note so you can try it next time you have, you know, chance in your studio. That's what I do. I just make a little note and then I either stick it to my studio door or I, you know, stick it to my laptop or something so I know to try it next time I go. Alright, so now I am going to do the other end, and I just have to make sure that I have these strands arranged so they're going to cascade properly. So I am just, again, making sure they're lining up all right here. And I have a few more hot glue strands that I need to snip, but I'm not going to worry about that yet. I'm just worried about getting these all lined up. Actually, they're almost just about right to go in as is. So I'm going to do the exact same thing to this end. If you want to fast forward across this part, it's going to be exactly what I just did, but some of you might want to see it again, so I'm just going to do it, okay? You know, fast forward if you don't want to watch it. So I'm putting all 3 ends into that little straw type little cylinder thing. I'm putting on the other part of my toggle. It's the toggly part of my toggle, and that's going in too. And the nice thing, there's 3 strands here, so it should be pretty secure. Even if one wire got worn through, which I don't think that's very likely because these are very lightweight beads that we've made with our hot glue, the necklace would still stay together. And I'm not going to worry about everything being too prim and proper because we're working with hot glue, for goodness sake. Nothing about this is really prim and proper. Alright, so now all I have to do is do the same thing with my crimp tube, my crimp pliers. So these little pliers, I picked these up I think for about $8 at Joann. I used one of those 50% off coupons, but it's got little channels in it so that when you're working with your crimp tubes, it kind of takes the guesswork out of it. And I've ruined crimp tubes before where I've snapped them. And I used to just use pliers to squish them, and that's fine and dandy, but they don't look as professional, and sometimes they break, and they're not as secure. So, you know, it's just one of those things. If you're going to use this wire a lot, consider buying one. You know, get it with a coupon. These are just the bead-along ones, I think. I'm just seeing if there's a... It doesn't say. But I know I bought them at Joann's with a coupon. I'm just hoping that little wire, when I snip it, doesn't fly into my coffee, because it's like, coffee's like right there. I do not want to be drinking... little wires. Now this, I can't cut this. What the heck's going on here? Well, my goodness, I think it might be time for a new pair of cutters. I have another pair of cutters over across the room, but yeah, that one went somewhere. I think it hit my fluorescent lights on the other side of the room. Oh, there we go. And okay, so now we have the necklace made. Okay, ooh la la, makes you feel fancy. Hot glue necklace. Now I'm going to do something else very fancy. I'm going to use a Target bag. You're very fancy when you go to Target and shop. And then I'm going to color this with alcohol inks. And I've got some different colors here. I've got cranberry. I've got some red. I like this. You can use your alcohol inks, your Tim Holtz alcohol inks. You can use pinata inks. You could color these with Sharpies. It'll take you a little bit longer, but the effect will be the same. So you know, do what you gotta do. Use what you have. I find that I use alcohol inks a lot, so I think they're a pretty good investment for me. It all depends on what you're gonna do. I use them a lot in jewelry making, actually, because I like to color charms and things like that. And I think you probably get a lot more ink in a tube of alcohol ink than you would in a marker. So, you know, it just depends on how much you're going to use it. I wait for sales. They go on sale 40 or 50% off at Joann's a lot. So that's when I tend to grab them. Now don't worry about being too meticulous. I'm just trying to get like a drop of at least one color, sometimes two, on each of these little beads. Don't really worry about if you're getting the front or the back. I'm trying to get the front for the most part, but again, I'm not going to worry about it. Nice fall colors here. I want to kind of see what that cranberry looks like. I bet it's a little cooler in color. Oh, that's pretty. The alcohol inks tend to be less pure of color. They tend to be a little bit more vintage looking. So I like the pinata colors for like the really vivid, pure colors. You know, not mixed colors. I mean, when I say pure colors, that's what I'm meaning. All right. So now that I've got some color in there, what I'm going to do is just gently kind of massage it in with the bag. Okay, because I want to just make sure that all those little beads are colored. Now, if you're worried about the ink that could be potentially wasted here, don't, because we're going to use that to make a background on an art journal page. I'll show you that in just a minute, because you know me, I don't like to waste. But if you didn't do art journaling, take a piece of cardstock when we get to that spot, what do you want? That part of the tutorial, because then you can also make your own little display cards and stuff. Ooh la la, I likey. And I'm just kind of gonna pinch this anywhere I see it doesn't look like I have a lot of color on a bead, and any little hot glue strings you see, just pull them off. No biggie. I see that little bead needs a little something something. Yeah, your finger's gonna get messy. You might want to wear rubber gloves. There's a little tip for you. A little too late for me. I already colored my hands. And it will color your wire too, so if you don't want the wire colored, you can go in with a little Q-tip with some, see? You can go in with a Q-tip with some alcohol in it and wipe it off the wire after if you want to. I love it. I think it's fantastic. Alright, so then we have this mess, right? I got my art journal over here. Got a nice fresh page. What I'm going to do here, I'm going to spray my bag with just rubbing alcohol from the drugstore. Nothing fancy. And I'm going to press my art journal in there. Oh, probably this tutorial is available on another video on my channel if you want to watch it. La-di-da. Maybe I'll even be clever and put a little thing you can click on to go see it. For all you art journalers out there. Alright. So then I got this kind of cool pattern, which is kind of neat, but I think I want to get some more color on there, so I'm just gonna really press that bag down in there and transfer some color. And I could even use the plastic bag for something else if I was that industrious. But there, now I've got a background for a journal page ready to go, or if you did this on cardstock, you could use it for packaging your next jewelry creation, making some earring cards or something. All right, so let's go back and look at the first necklace we made. Fancy, ooh la la. And we'll take a look at the one we just made that's still probably a little bit tacky. Still tacky in a good way, or tacky in the way where I mean it's just not dry yet completely. A little sticky. Won't be sticky for long though. And I really don't think this needs any sealing. I think it's going to be stuck pretty well to the hot glue. But you could always give it a little spray of something if you want. Just make sure it's not something that's going to irritate anybody's skin. I've used alcohol inks to color tiles and beads and stuff for years. I haven't really had an issue with things rubbing off. Oops, let's hope this toggle goes through there. Because this is the one it came with. Oh my, what if that doesn't fit through? That's going to be a bummer. I'll have to take apart that end. It came with it. It's got to fit through. It has to. Oh my goodness, they were jumping together, so they better fit through, or that's going to be a serious bummer. Well, now I might have to rethink that situation if that doesn't close up. But there you have it. our fancy little necklace. Hope you liked this tutorial. If you did, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. And here's a little handy trick for you. Always test your toggles. Even if you bought them together and they were in a package, that's probably why they were 25 cents at Martin's. Always check your toggles to make sure they fit before you put your jewelry together. But at least I have this blue one that will be so fancy and lovely to wear. Thank you so much for watching. Thumbs up and subscribe. Please check out my other jewelry making tutorials. And as always, happy crafting.